Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and today we are finally doing the final review of The Promised Neverland. This series has been an amazing journey, and it makes me a bit sad that I started this series about halfway through when it had come out. The series had already gotten through the first season, and we didn't know if there was gonna be a second season for a while. And I started reading the series and fell in love with it more and more as I continued to read it. And I've made a few dumb videos about it. And of course, when the second season came out, I made a full review about the series, at least until I realized that this was going to be a garbage season, and everyone knows that no one cares about the second season of Promised Neverland because it doesn't exist. Are we clear on that? Cool. Moving on. But seeing this series go, now that the manga has completely concluded here in America, is honestly very sad. Because of the season that doesn't exist, there may never be another season of Promised Neverland. And more than likely, what might happen maybe years in the future, when people are wishing for a remake of the series, a new season will start up with at the very beginning, taking what was created by the author and redoing it completely word for word, basically, and creating a spoken language for the demons, which that is one of the big issues as to why the second season failed, because of the fact that they weren't really going to dedicate themselves to doing the demon language at all. Even though it's actually hardly used, they couldn't use some of the most important characters. Sure, we have Mujika and Sanju, but those are the only characters that we got. There are some huge important characters, including, well, him. If you guys know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. But basically the one who is mentioned so many times by name, but you can't say his name because there's no pronunciation. But I think that was the biggest issue with the anime, is that the fact that they just didn't dedicate themselves to actually deciding how it would be pronounced. And they just wanted to use this special writing to say the names. And as such, and all of these other things. And as such, it just fell apart. And yeah, it's sad. But it's more sad to see this series go, like I said. This final volume concludes the story in a way that I really wasn't expecting. We knew that eventually everyone was going to go to the human world, and we would get to see some of that cool stuff, especially because everything was wrapping up so nicely. But we also knew that there was going to be a price to pay. A price for Emma to pay. This is the final story, so we need to know what that price was. And honestly, I think that price was reasonable. And it actually makes sense that Emma would take this offer. Everyone would get to go to the human world. There would be freedom for both the demons and the humans. And while there is the possibility that at some point in the future the demons and the humans could reunite, it's unlikely. And the demons would have grown by then, knowing more than likely, with Mujika being the new queen, it means that a new future can be changed. Over time, they will tell the stories of the humans, and how the humans, despite the fact that they had been hunted, they were clearly being taken advantage of. And when they finally had the power to stand up and destroy the demons, they chose not to, but instead chose to forgive and forget, to let those demons continue to live, to accept the help of demons that they didn't know if they were going to be good or evil, but instead got to live their lives in peace. Demons and humans, even though humans may never be seen again, the demons now know that the humans aren't bad. Sure, the humans may still have fears of them, but at some point, maybe in the future, demons could reunite with the humans and form a peace treaty. This story is weird, and it's odd to see that the demons' world feels completely separate from humans. For a while, we thought that the world was actually split in two, but now we can actually see that the human world is our Earth, and went through a lot of stuff. Basically, everything that happened in our history happened in theirs, with the added bonus of the fact that demons used to live, and caused a lot of strife for humans for many years. But besides that, the world went on. And now they are at peace. It's sad, but it's also interesting to see. It's also amazing to see just how everyone has lived their lives. And the price, like I said, that Emma had to pay to simply forget her memories. But he didn't take all of her memories. Instead, leaving her with the glimpses, memories, popping up in her dreams, allowing her to one day find her family once again. And even though she may not remember them, she could reunite with them, learn what she did, learn what they did, and grow as a person. Become who she always was, and continue to love her family. Sure, she may not remember everything that they tell her that she did, nor will she remember many of the things that they don't know about, but they get to tell her her story, the story as they saw it, the story of the hero, Emma. And that is also another thing that I want to bring up. This is the first Shonen Jump manga that its main protagonist is female. The majority of, yes, there are probably a few others, but most of them have never really been seen compared to almost everything else. Sure, there are shonen protagonists who are female, but Shonen Jump? Hardly ever. And when I say shonen protagonists, I mean, like, it's still a very small amount. Most of them coming from things like isekai and other things. There's a lot of them for sure, but the actual female protagonist has been few and far between. And I think that that's an important thing to understand, is that things are about to change. Promised Neverland changed the world, period. We got to see for the first time a female protagonist in a series that was meant for guys. A story that shows that things are changing in the world of anime and manga. No longer is there this divide where these are specifically for boys and these are specifically for girls. Shoujo Beat is no longer just for girls, and Shonen Jump is no longer just for boys. And as such, things are going to change. We're going to be seeing the change as more main characters are the opposite gender of the audience that was supposed to be for these companies. And there's a possibility that the word shonen may change its meaning. perhaps shonen will become more in tune with action. I mean, sure, shonen is basically the equivalent to san or chan or kun and all of those different things, sama, but in specifically focusing on the teenagers. So you'll say something like Daniel Shonen, Midoriya Shonen, so on and so forth, Uraraka Shoujo, different things like that. But with this story, it's possible that that language might change. And shonen may choose to no longer mean that. Language evolves, period. And sure, it may still remain the way that it has been, but at the same time, it's changing. Everything is changing. The world is changing for the better. And this story is a huge example of that. We get to see how this story concludes. And I'm honestly so excited to see what's next. And who knows? Maybe it will be something interesting. I was gonna go off and say, well, maybe Hunter's Guild Red Hood is the signifier that is the next Promised Neverland. But in all honesty, I feel like that is more Demon Slayer's replacement. Whatever will be Promised Neverland's replacement needs to do an extremely good job. Because there is nothing that I know of that could replace the horror, mystery, and just overall amazingness that this series did. This story deserves this conclusion, and it deserves a good ending, and it has gained it. It is sad to see this series go, but I for one am super happy that we got to join Emma, Norman, Ray, and all of the other characters on this amazing journey through the Promised Neverland to save the world, to reunite with the humans. This was an amazing series that absolutely deserves the attention of everyone. It's time to say goodbye, but maybe not for long. Maybe soon, maybe far in the future, we'll get a remake of the anime, and we will get to see this amazing series get reanimated and bring a whole new audience into this series, filled with mystery, horror, and just shonen lovers of all ages. Because this is one of the greatest series that we have seen in a long time. But anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell as we continue to talk more about other manga and anime, and of course, many other series, including video games, and, well, just random stuff, as we continue to theorize and to contemplate the universe. And of course, if you guys do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias, our other channels, and ways that you can support us financially, including the merch store, the book, and of course, our Patreon, which a big thank you to our current patron, Sheeny. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on.